Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is that you inky savages are joining us for episode number 165 of the PenBoyRoy Pentertainment Podcast. How's everybody doing? As you may or may not know, I got back from France. I'm a little jet lagged because I'm 43 and things don't feel as easy as they used to. So if I look a little sleepy, there's good reason. It's because I am. So thank you guys again for joining us. We have a good show. I got so much to catch up with my good buddy, the Odd Oink. So much to talk about. I want to talk about really quick. Well, Tom wants to talk about it because I don't know what he's going to talk about.
We're going to try to trim down the sponsorship read today to make it somewhat manageable.
Right.
To a little bit under half the show.
Right.
So if you want to zip forward ahead, not going to blame you, but some people like these things just because they're new. We talk about something new every week. So
I agree.
Yeah.
Take it away with the 3 new colors of the Benu Talisman, Tom.
All right. So I'll share it with you for the folks that are looking at this on YouTube. I am just looking to share screen here. Whoops, there we go. And we're going to talk about some brand new Talisman pens from Benu. These are 3 new colors. They are not limited editions. They are very colorful. They are done after the gemstones. So you have cat's eye, which I'm sure that you like, Roy.
I do.
You like cats.
I like.
So you have cat's eye, which is the greenish one. You have tiger's eye, which is the orange and black one, and then you have hawk's eye, which is the blue one with gray. It looks like a gray and black on the grip section and cap band. These are done in the similar style that you've seen a lot of other, let's say, special editions or limited editions from retailers and stuff like that. But these are generally available with any Benu dealer, and they're also not a limited number. So this is going to be something that'll be an everyday model that you could find. But to kind of give you the overview here and what's on the screen, I'll read it to you, is from Benu. They say, presenting 3 new stunning additions to our Talisman collection, Cat's Eye, Hawk's Eye, and Tiger's Eye. Each unique fountain pen is dedicated to a popular quartz crystal renowned for its distinctive natural phenomenon known as chatoyance. It's one of my favorite words. These minerals, highly sought after for their optical illusions, have been surrounded by myths and legends for centuries. We therefore considered the stones a perfect fit for our Talisman collection. Each pen is crafted in the corresponding mineral's color with Benu's signature splash of sparkles and comes complete with a leaflet sharing the background story. We are thrilled to introduce our new designs showcasing the mesmerizing beauty and symbolism of these remarkable stones.
So wait a minute, cat's eye, hawk's eye, and tiger's eye is
yes, sir.
All based on stones?
They are based on a quartz stone, different types of quartz crystals.
So wouldn't it be fair to say that the pen is en route based on the eyes of cats, hawks, and tigers?
Not containing the eye, because we don't want to, because we know that the Talisman collection tends to infuse the material, the resin, with what it is that's inspired by, so they have to say, hey, it's used with quartz powder, not with the eyes of cats, hawks, and tigers, because that would just kind of be wrong.
Yeah, that would be kind of, I wouldn't buy that pen if they really used 2 types of cats and a bird in their pen. It's kind of morbid, right?
So as you see on the screen here, it is available starting August 18th, 2023, of which, give or take, because, I mean, these pens are coming from Armenia and they have to come to the United States and whatnot, they'll be available for an MSRP of $154, and these are coming in the Schmidt number 6 size nib, so this will be fine, medium, and broad, and then cartridge converter, like you would normally see with other Benu pens. So there you have it. That is the Talisman. It'll be available at Goldspot, but not for pre-order. It'll be available when it does arrive eventually in August.
But wait, there's more. Not only are they going to be available at Goldspot Pens, but you can access them through the affiliate link in the description below. Using coupon code, whatever the coupon code is when the pen comes out, because Tom likes to keep changing it.
We will be changing it at the end of June. As I have it on my calendar, we're going to change it So we
All
just
right.
have to change it every once in a while at least. So we were able to negotiate it down to a lower amount of changes because it is really crazy to get them changed so much. So
Yeah, if you change the coupon code every like 30 seconds, no one's going to use it. But like I said, use the affiliate link in the description below, and it'll help out this $1,000 corporation known as the PenBoyRoy Pentertainment Studios.
keep that engine humming.
Right, and then use that coupon code to save yourself extra money on the MSRP of the 3 eyes of Benu. That was actually really quick for a sponsorship. I like how we just wrapped it all. Yeah, we wrapped it all into one just there, right?
Yes.
So anyway, we have a lot to talk about. I want to catch up with you. So let me give you guys a quick forewarning. This podcast is not scripted and therefore will contain potty mouth words both from Tom and I, so be forewarned. You have been warned. Now, on to the podcast.
The PenBoyRoy Entertainment Podcast. Stay savage.
Week out because I know what it is.
Oh, no. You did a pen of the week. I get to do the pen of the week this week.
Oh no, but I know this. But
What's that?
I'm right there with you. I understand it. You'll see.
What do you mean?
You'll
Okay.
see. I get it. I get it. I know where this is going. I get it.
You already know what. I'm going to keep this whole conversation in the final cut because it's funny. But wait, how do you know what the pen of the week is for me?
Because I'm observant. I know these things.
Okay. So
Yes.
anyway, we're going to talk about the pen of the week. Do you want us to talk about the pen of the week first, or should we talk about my trip to France?
Let's do a little catch up from your trip to France. I'm very interested to know what was going down there. How were the French? How was Paris?
So we were in Paris for the last 10 days. Let me tell you something, man. Jet lag didn't used to kick my ass the way it does now. I'm tired. It's only 6 hours too. I'm being such a little baby about it. But oh man, I gotta
you
tell
came in. What was it? Monday night, right? You were Monday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
So what was it? So basically, you were at the airport. Monday night, and then coming back and it worked.
It was the weirdest.
How did it work?
It's the weirdest thing. I jump on a flight at 4:30 in the afternoon in Paris, fly for 7 hours, and then arrive in New York at 6:30. So I'm literally a fucking time traveler, son. Check that shit out. That's
if you went fast enough, you would have been able to go back in the past and reverse the rotation of the globe.
Right. So I never understood that part of Superman when he saved Lois's life. I didn't get how that.
It's not meant to be. It's meant to be a leap of faith and logic. That's.
I'm just. It didn't make sense. I think it would have caused cataclysmic, eruptions of volcanoes. Yeah, earthquakes. He would have just destroyed the entire planet. Yeah. As a matter of fact, studies have shown that that's actually how all the dinosaurs died. Superman flew around the Earth too fast and caused all kinds of mass destruction and eruptions and all kinds of shit. So don't believe what you read in the history books, that it's not a big meteor that killed all the dinosaurs. It was Superman accidentally flying backwards in time too fast.
Wait. So which history book are you reading about Superman being in the prehistoric era? Is what I'd like to know.
The secret ones.
The secret one.
Right.
You said
Don't
believe the history books, but in the same breath you were like, yes, but then Superman decided to go halfway around the world, So it's
it's not that he was in the prehistoric times. He just spun the Earth in the other direction so much that it just kept spinning, the inertia, and he wound up in the prehistoric times. And he's like, shit, I fucked up. So now Lois Lane is not even born yet. So then he had to revert it, and that's how that's how things are now. So that's how history works. So anyway, yeah, Paris was fucking awesome, man. I never understood. First time in Europe, by the way.
Oh, really?
I never understood what all the fuss was about when people talked about Paris being such a beautiful city. Holy bejesus, is it a beautiful city? Let me tell you, just walking around, we walked every day in Saint Germain, in Opera, in all these different towns. I know you're going to ask me, did you break keto? I didn't break it. I destroyed it. Dude, I was on a massive binge eating We ate so
Yes.
much. Here's a crazy thing.
Enjoy the dark side.
I didn't gain any weight. I
Well, I
thought I
mean,
was gonna. I thought
You
I
were
was gonna
walking
gain-
it off.
I guess so. Yeah, we walked a whole lot. It was just so much. I'm telling you, the best thing about Paris was the fact that I was there with my wife. It was just so romantic. It was so nice just to have no plan and just do stuff together.
You did a lot of like sappy romantic shit, didn't you?
Yes, we did.
Like taking
And-
selfies by the Eiffel Tower. And
Yes.
having baguettes at a cafe and all that
Everywhere,
stuff.
son. We had baguettes at, I forgot the names,
They handed
Boulangeries.
you baguettes in the shower.
Yeah, we had Boulangeries. We had, I forgot the other one. It starts with a P. It's like pastry shop. And cafes, and then restaurants. It's absolutely insane. It was so beautiful. We're going to go back. I want to go back again. I wanted to just stay there longer, but obviously I couldn't do that because we have jobs and stuff. But Paris was so awesome. I visited 3 pen stores. I visited Pompneau. So
You found them. We were not sure where they were, but you were able to find them pretty well.
yeah, so Point Plume was recommended to me by a fellow pen enthusiast Instagrammer. I think his name is Hesh. He apparently lives in France. And then
Cool.
I stumbled upon the Mont Blanc store, and Michael Hujara from Coles of London told me to go to the St. Dupont store. And I need to take this moment out in time to say a special thank you to my friend Jacqueline. Her Instagram name is hard to say. I think it's Bruin and Tea or something like that on Instagram. But thank you, Jacqueline, she spent so much time trying to give me ideas of what to do because she's very well versed in French stuff, and she spent so much time, like so much information, so much time taken out of her day just messaging me and stuff like that. So Jacqueline,
Very cool.
I wanna actually look up her Instagram so that way I can say it right.
I think I could visualize the name, and I could also visualize some of the pens that usually would come up on that feed too.
Yeah,
Very
hold on a
nice.
second.
Yeah, nice writing and everything.
Okay, it's Bruin _T_et_ Ecreture. So ECRITURE. Bruin T et. She's gonna message me later and be like, "That's horrible pronunciation. I can't read."
I
French.
appreciate the mention, but you completely just
Butchered.
annihilated the pronunciation.
Yeah, so she's on Instagram under what I just said. It's just hard to read. So anyway, Jacqueline, thank you for all the suggestions and all the help. I had an excellent time, and she even introduced me to her buddy Claire, who met up with us, and she's like a guide. So she took us to like these old town markets and stuff like that, and walked us around. It was so much fun. We ate so much. Holy shit, man. Let me also tell you though, when you're on keto as long as I have, and then you break keto, like we did in Paris, every shit I took was like an Argentinian restaurant level emergency. That's not a good thing, right? So I'm in the recovery process right now. So
Oh wow.
yeah. So on top of that, there's the jet lag, there's the gut biome being completely uprooted and stuff.
Jeez.
But it was all worth it. It all worth it, man. Like
Every bout of diarrhea just saved it.
Yeah.
Were you
There's
able to use?
something-
They have bidets there. They had bidets.
Yes.
Yeah.
So our hotel had this thing where you push everybody knows what a bidet is, but basically what it does is it just squirts like a nice warm stream of water at your butthole, and that's how you clean your butt. Saves a lot of money on toilet paper, I'll tell you that, right? So we didn't have to go through so many rolls as a normal person would
Especially if
normally
you're
do
doing
without.
Argentinian restaurant shits. That's
Yeah.
comes in handy.
Yeah. By the way, I saw the sticker that eBay made for us.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I
I wish
gotta-
he.
I gotta put it in my notes. I gotta order that sticker to be able to. That'll be the next sticker that we do for the Fire Tom.
Oh,
giveaway stuff.
everybody's just gonna want you to lose your job after this because the sticker is so fucking
They're
awesome.
gonna be like, finally a new sticker. amazing.
It is amazing. It is the greatest and best sticker ever created in the history of anything ever created, ever. So, thank you for that, eBear, if you're listening. Fantastic. This is your Beethoven's Ninth. This is your Moby Dick. This thing is the best thing you've ever created, in my opinion.
Didn't Moby Dick ruin Captain Ahab? Wasn't that like a bad thing for him? I mean, it was something that he chased after, but then didn't it like eat him or something like that at the Moby Dick?
No, I thought he caught the whale, and as he was like hauling it home, all the sharks ate it. Or am I thinking of a different story?
Maybe that was the Old Man in the Sea. Was that Old Man in the Sea?
That is Old Man in the Sea.
Yeah.
I'm pretty stupid.
Anyway.
Never mind. But just day one of getting to France. So we get there at about like noon, and we had to wait a couple of hours for our room to be ready. Once it was ready, we took a nap, and we got up at about 1800 in Paris time. And then we just started walking around. We went to have dinner, walked around some more, sat down at a cafe. We walked for several hours, and it was just such a wonderful experience. Just everything about Paris was just wonderful. And what's crazy is, my wife, she's very smart, so she started studying French for a little while, and then she's communicating in French with like cab drivers and people and stuff like that. And I'm like, honey, are you faking it? Are you serious? And then she's talking, and then they're talking back, and she's understanding. So I'm like, holy shit, like that's really impressive to me, because I don't really speak multiple language. I mean, I speak English and Korean, but I never had to really learn Korean. I kind of just know it. I don't know what it's like to learn another language, but she does, because when she first came to the U.S. back in 2003, she didn't speak any English, and now she speaks fluent English, and she takes pronunciation and grammar super seriously. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, for me, I don't have the patience for that, or the intellect for that matter. But I was really proud and impressed with her. She doesn't listen to this, so I'll tell her in person.
Oh,
but
I'm sure
yeah,
she does.
Yeah, but it was such an amazing experience. I loved France. I loved Paris. I never understood what the big deal was until I got there. Another thing I want to talk about, I went to the Louvre. Mm-hmm. And the Mona Lisa. Everybody's like, oh, what's the big deal with the Mona Lisa? You got to see it in front of you. Mm-hmm. You got to see it in front of you, and it's almost like the painting is alive. It's almost like there is life in the painting. I don't know how to explain it, but pictures will not capture it. Videos will not capture it. I don't know much about that period of art and stuff, but man, that fucker could draw.
Well, it's painting, but it's close enough.
Yeah, but there's something so alive about the painting. There's something very unique about it, and when I saw it, I was like, holy shit, this is why it's so famous. It's alive. It's not just a still painting. There's attitude in the face of the Mona Lisa. It's really crazy. The Eiffel Tower was an awesome experience. I got a couple of notebooks from the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, cool.
They used Clairefontaine paper.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
one would expect it comes from a French milled Clairefontaine.
Right, but then some of the other cheaper notebooks at like where was I? Oh, I was at a Holocaust museum. I can't remember where, but they were selling notepads and paper and stuff, but it was like cheap. It was like cheap paper. It was borderline toilet paper. But the stuff at the Eiffel Tower, they had Clairefontaine paper. It was good. I bought a couple of them. One is going over to Jacqueline, just as a token of appreciation. I also picked up some pens I want to talk about. So
you picked up some rather nice souvenirs.
I did. I wasn't planning. I wasn't going there with the intention of.
Here it is. I appreciate and I love the fact that you're living the Dinks lifestyle. I see it. Just to let you know, I see it and I recognize it. And for those that think I just threw an ethnic slur at him. DINK stands for double income, no kids.
Yes.
All right. So I go on vacation. I'll pick up souvenirs. It's usually whatever the kids want to get, which is like a stuffed animal, or now that they're getting older, it's like a hoodie from the place. You
Right.
go on vacation, you're picking up stuff from SD DuPont and Mont Blanc. I'm just like, well done. Well done, sir.
But we don't have kids, and since we don't have kids, we don't have... I know kids are very expensive. I'm not knocking it, anybody who does have kids. I'm not saying... We just decided we didn't want to have kids so that we can do stuff like this.
Yes.
Right? So, like, I retire in about 5 years, and our plan is to do more of this stuff and have time to do this stuff.
And
you know,
that is amazing, and I appreciate it for what it is. I look at it, there's no... I mean, some people may say, oh, you know, Tom sounds pretty salty, or he sounds rather regretful, like he just... you know, regrets his choices, his life choices right now, but I'm just fine with it. I like it. I appreciate it for what it is. I see it, and I'm ready to embrace it with all of the fun. That's why I'm asking you so many questions. Is I want to live it through your eyes and see how much enjoyment that you got out of it.
I got so much, but at the same time, it's a short amount of time and it's fleeting, and I'm sure that you wouldn't give up your kids just to go on a 10-day trip to Paris.
There are many things of which I would give my kids up for. I'm just kidding. No, I give them it.
Right, so I don't know the joy of having kids. I never will, so I don't know what I'm missing out on. But I can tell you this. I don't think I would... I can't put a value on the time I spent with my wife in Paris. Mm-hmm. There's nothing more valuable to me. It was the best time of my life. Yeah. Really, I had never enjoyed something so much. But anyway, we went to Point Plume, pronounced Point Plume in English, and I picked up this fountain pen. For everybody listening, it is a wooden fountain pen that's made by a guy named Choisy in France, and he's a local artisan. And he deals with Point Plume.
Very cool.
So when I went into Point Plume, my intention was to buy something that I can't get anywhere else. I wanted to get something that can only be bought in France, and I wanted it to be made by someone who is an artisan from France. And that excluded everything else. I didn't want any of the big names or anything like that. So I picked up this pen here. Mm-hmm. It was 250 euros, which is more in dollars, but I got a 12% back. I got refunded 12% in the taxes when I got to the airport, which is cool.
Right.
But it doesn't matter. It's a beautiful wood pen, yellow wood pen with an interesting pattern. It has a number 5 size stainless steel Bach nib unit. Okay. It's cartridge converter. I have not inked it up yet. There's no branding on this at all. But he deals with Point Plume.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of a Nemosity or Nemosine.
I feel why you say that.
Yeah.
Why you feel that. It's different. You have to hold it in your hand. So
and it's also turned from wood, right?
Yes,
you said it was wood. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, it is. It is very nice. It's not the most comfortable grip. It doesn't have the most comfortable step. It's not about utility in this case. This is really just a souvenir from France. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it writes fine. Like I said, I haven't inked it up. I will. You can't post it. I know that drives you crazy. There's no comfortable way of holding it on the section because it's so thin and slippery. And then the step is so big. But I don't really care. I got it because it's a piece of France that I was able to take home with me.
Very nice.
And then,
well done.
At another date, we went to the Mont Blanc store in Saint Germain. What's so funny? What the fuck are you laughing at, man? I'm trying to be French here.
It's a slippery slope. It was like, yeah, I'm gonna buy something that reminds me of France, and it's a pen, so it's great. It's me. And it's like, then I went to a Mont Blanc store. It's like, oh shit, now it's on.
Yeah, and I don't know what compelled me to go to the Mont Blanc store. I just wanted to look around and see if they had the Rouge et Noir.
Okay.
Because I always wanted that, and I'm thinking maybe I'll pick that up. I don't know. But they didn't have that, Or maybe they did. I didn't even ask because as soon as I walked in, I was like, hey, do you guys have the calligraphy fountain pen? So they did. And I picked up the Mont Blanc 146 Le Grand Meister Schuck calligraphy fountain pen. And since the day I got it, I've been using it a lot. Mm-hmm. It has an extra fine point, and it has a really good amount of line variation.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like not necessarily flexy, but bouncy, right?
It's flexy. It's a flex nib.
It is flexy.
It is a flex nib. It's on par with what do you call it? Scribo. The way it writes.
Is it now?
Yeah, they're very similar in terms of the writing experience. It has more of a fine, non-flex line, and it flexes out about the same as a Scribo. Mm-hmm. Did you see that I put a review of this pen?
I did see that for the first time in quite some time. There was a PenBoyRoy review on the PenBoyRoy review channel, and I have not gotten a chance to look at it yet today, but I will be watching it sometime soon.
Yeah,
I promise.
So, no pressure. You're just a bad friend if you don't. But anyway, I was really impressed with this pen. However, like I said in my review, for anybody who didn't watch it, I wouldn't get it over a Scribo. The only reason I would get it over a Scribo is because I want the Mont Blanc name, right? Because a Scribo gives you an acrylic pen with more handmade elements, and it writes really well. Also a piston filler. You get more bang for your buck for the Scribo, in my opinion. However, if you want to go around and you want to flex that you have a Mont Blanc pen, and you want to
flexes.
There you go. You want to flex the Mont Blanc, and you want a flexible pen. This is also the way to go. You're paying for what one of the commenters on the video said. You're paying for the experience, and you're paying for the name. And like Brian Hulser said, there's value in the name brand. There's value in branding. So this one is my pen of the week, the Mont Blanc 164 calligraphy fountain pen. 146. Oh my God, did I say 164?
Yeah,
I am so tired.
Got distracted because I popped mine up on the screen here too.
Yeah, yours is vintage. Yours is a vintage, right?
Mine's a bit older, yes. I think it probably is somewhere in the 90s or so, but it's... That's why I said I know what you're doing with the pen of the week, and that's why I took this one out. I was like, this is the pen of the week right here. It's the 146.
Very nice, very nice. So, leading up to this episode, I was like really excited about it because I wanted to talk about my trip to France and the pens that I got. And then, but we just blew right past it. We're 28 minutes in, and I think I said everything I needed to say, but. And then we went to the St. Dupont store. And I got to say, it was a good experience there, too. I ended up with a belt. My wife wanted to buy me a belt, and a very beautiful belt. So
I would think going off of keto, you wouldn't necessarily need a belt, that you would have filled yourself out. But
right. But the craziest thing was I went to France with a 32 waist. I came back with a 32 waist.
Nice.
And the amount that I ate, I cannot believe I didn't gain any weight. I don't understand it. Because we ate so many carbs. By the way, dude, restaurants in France taste fucking good, man. It was just, the food is amazing. The quality control for food over there, the ingredients, the plating, the care is amazing, man. It is just something else. Every place we went to tasted like a super high-end fancy restaurant in New York.
Yeah.
So I was completely blown away. We went to one place called Azteca Royale. It's a restaurant. It has a tasting menu, 9 courses.
Wow.
It has 2 Michelin stars. Freaking phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And then we also went to a place called Agatha. And the pizza there, some of the best pizza I ever had in my life. Until we go to Italy. I'm saying right now that Agatha had the best pizza I ever shoved into my stupid face. It was so good. It was so good. And then we went to another place that a friend of mine, Jordan, he's a sleep doctor, recommended. La Fumure. It's right by the Louvre. And we went there just for lunch. And the small lunch that we had, absolutely delicious. Like these chefs are just so artistic with the food. It was
It's
amazing.
probably also the ingredients too. The ingredients
Yeah.
are more
There's
wholesome,
definitely
less
they're more
GMOs, you know.
Yeah, more whole foods are used in the making of everything. I feel like something's different about the bread. Like we ate a lot of bread. Something just I didn't feel bloated or sleepy or overstuffed. Something about the bread in France is just different too. So anyway, I really loved my trip to France. We had such a good time. It was weird because my first day going back to work, I'm sitting at work and I'm like, man, I just miss hanging out with my wife. Like we really bonded more while we were in France.
Yeah, you were around each other 24/7.
Yeah, we really had such a good time and good conversations.
That's
Being
awesome.
able to see stuff and experience stuff we've never seen before, but doing it together. There's nothing greater in life than that. And I'm just really happy that I did it. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I'd be like, fuck that. I don't want to go to France. I want to stay home and play video games. You know?
I just want a staycation. I just don't want.
Yeah.
I just want people to leave me alone for a little
Yeah,
while.
but I've done enough staycations.
Yeah. Especially with like the pandemic and everything. It's like everybody had enough of just hanging out at their own house.
Yeah, and I watched movies on the plane, 7-hour flight. I watched a movie called Bullet Train. Hilarious fucking movie. Have you seen it with Brad Pitt? Oh
No.
man, you got to watch Bullet Train. Absolutely hilarious movie. Just insane. You got to pay attention though, which I was able to do because there's nothing else to pay attention to other than just the sound of the plane.
Now, did you bring any pens and notebooks to record the trip with, or did you use the pens that you purchased?
I
and
used the
notebooks
ones I
that you
purchased. Yeah,
So you used them during the trip. Did you record any thoughts, journal a little bit, or did you just take pictures? Like, how did you kind of commemorate the trip?
Most of it was pictures. Any kind of writing I did was just nonsense. Like
It was just like, I am testing this.
yeah,
new Mont
for
Blanc
some
pen.
reason I kept writing savage sausage. I guess
Savage sausage.
yeah. I don't know why, but like you know that thing where you just free write like without thinking. I'm just writing savage sausage, and I think because when I write the word savage and sausage and seriously, like I wrote seriously savage sausage all over this fucking Mont Blanc testing paper. So like
Stupid Americans.
yeah. The guy there was really cool though, the salesperson I was dealing with. Fantastic dude. But he must have been looking at this writing sample. He's like, what fantastic handwriting, because he did compliment my handwriting. But he knows
Well,
how
of
to read.
course he was. He was going to get a sale out of you. He's like,
Yeah.
you could write absolute dog shit on there, and they'd be like, oh, amazing handwriting.
Let me tell you something though. I was so enamored by the pen and so impressed with the pen that if he's like, hey, listen, you're an idiot, I want you to eat shit and die, I would have still bought the pen off of him.
Nice.
Because yeah, that's how awesome this pen
Way to
pen
take
was.
abuse and then still
Yeah.
buy something.
Yeah, right. He didn't. He was nothing but a gentleman. But it was. I'm very happy with this pen because I like how it writes with an extra fine,
Yeah.
and then goes out to about a millimeter to maybe 1.1 millimeter.
Sweet.
So yeah. So I did some.
Does it
live-
have an ebonite feed on it by any chance?
No, it
Or
doesn't. It's a cheapy Mont Blanc plastic feed, but it keeps up. So
It does keep up, though.
yeah, I don't know what they did to figure it out, but they did a great job. I don't know what to say.
They figured out the geometry, maybe, of how the nib interacts with the feed
Yeah.
and how it rests on there. And I just like, I love the 146 for its size. I have the 149 was gifted to me, and I know 149 for a lot of people is like, oh, that is the top of the tops grail pen right there.
Yeah.
I actually like the 146 better.
I don't know, man. I like the 149.
Yeah.
The 149 is a honking pen, man. This thing
I know,
is,
but I just feel like for the size and the writing ability, I'm really happy with how the 146 is. The posted length.
Yeah, I agree with you.
The shape. I just feel like it fits me better.
Yeah, I definitely think that the 146 is far more practical of a writer. I think it's more comfortable. I think it's definitely the more practical when it comes to writing, because this thing is like writing with something the size of a magic marker.
It's writing with a savage sausage.
Savage sausage. A seriously savage sausage.
It's a seriously savage. You should get that engraved on the cap. Seriously savage sausage.
Yeah. But I just like the aesthetics of the Mont Blanc 149. And what I really like about the 149 and the 146 is how you can tell that this is a 146 without having to hold a 149 next to it. And you can tell a 149 is a 149 without holding a 146 next to it. They're both they're exactly the same design, but they're they're distinctive.
Yes.
In the way they look. So
if you were to characterize them as people, what would you say about them? Like if you were to characterize the size and the shape of them?
I would say this one is Dave Bautista. The 149 is Dave Bautista.
From Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah. And I would say the 146 is Peter Quill.
Okay.
Is that fair?
I get that.
I don't know how else to categorize. You put me on the spot there. I wasn't prepared for that.
You did marvelously to spar with me there.
Yeah. So yeah, and then I also got this pen case, this genuine leather, very well made Mont Blanc 2 pen case. It opens up, has a flap. You have two pockets there, one for each pen. It fits the 149 very nicely.
Wouldn't it be funny if it didn't? It'd be like, no, not big enough. It just slides right in, right? And then I keep that with my calligraphy. This also slides right in. Now, how does it feel on the inside there? Is that like suede?
It's
soft.
It's very soft. It's like suede/,
nice,
polishing cloth type material. Then it snaps closed, and I really like that.
So I'm curious to know, how does it work with you said you were able to save some VAT when you left, like you were able to save on the VAT taxes.
Yeah.
But you were refunded at the airport for it. I'm just wondering how that works out.
Okay, so the Mont Blanc 146 Meisterstück calligraphy nib was 795 euros. You show them your passport, they do whatever they do. They scan it, they input it into a computer. Then they print out this...
That's at the Mont Blanc store.
At the Mont Blanc store. They print out this paper with a barcode on it. That paper is like the receipt. You go to the airport when you're on your way home, and there's these little kiosks where you scan the little barcode under a laser, and then it processes a 12% refund of what you paid back to your credit card.
Okay, so you do have to produce the item itself to show that that's what you bought, or no?
It said you did, but like
you just gave them the receipt and they scanned it.
There's no them. It's a machine. It's a kiosk. Just beep. That's what it is.
And this kiosk is at the airport?
Yeah. They're like little ATMs at the airport. They look like ATMs pretty much. So let's do the math. Do you have a calculator?
I got it on my computer. Could do that.
Okay. So 795.
795. Yes.
Minus 12%.
That is 95.40.
95 minus 795. So
minus 795. Yeah, so I guess, so it brings it down to 700 then.
So let's say 700. Now, what is 700 euros to US dollars?
Jeez, man, really making me work hard here.
Yeah.
Go to USD. So that currently is $747.67.
So I paid $747 on the button for the Mont Blanc Meisterstück 146 calligraphy fountain pen.
Now, how is it there with the? Did you have to carry around a lot of euros with you, or use
One
your
second.
debit
Hold
card?
that question. So $747, right? Okay. The Mont Blanc Meisterstück, the same pen in the U.S., is $855 plus tax. So that comes out to over $900 about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I saved by
Nice.
being in France and buying it.
Very cool.
Now, I know I say, just you got to buy from U.S. retailers, but I was actually in France. And good luck finding this pen at a U.S. retailer. So when I saw it, I was like, I got to get it. And my wife wasn't resistant about it. But I'm sorry, what were you saying? You were saying something about carrying euros?
I was curious because, with things being a lot more digital these days, did you just, let's say, use your card a lot, or did you bring cash with you? Or
Yeah.
did you have to take out euros? And if you did you take them out using like a debit card, or like how did that work out?
So I did currency exchange before we left the U.S.
Okay.
Couple grand. And then everything else I used on my international credit card.
Okay.
So the international credit card, you don't get charged the exchange fee.
Exchange, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I did. You want to hear something interesting? You know how like when you finish paying at a restaurant, you put your card down, they take the card, they go run it, and they bring back the receipt.
Right.
They don't do that in France. They bring
do they do?
they bring a little credit card machine to you, and they charge it right in front of you because they said that they're not allowed to take your card away from you because of security reasons.
Well, a lot of places now, and when I'm saying a lot of places, it's usually your bigger chain restaurants like Chili's or Olive Garden or things like that. They have these little devices on the table itself that they entice for children to play on, like with games and stuff like that, so they could charge you more. But it serves as a way to pay on there directly as well. And this thing sits on your table the entire time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's like a lot of places. I mean, just not, of course, your smaller mom and pop sort of restaurants or your non-chain, but some of the bigger chains have this. Yeah, they're just basically like these little kind of almost like an Echo Show. You have seen the Amazon Echo Show,
Yeah.
but they're a little bit bigger and they have a display on them, and you could review your entire bill on when it's time to pay on the screen, and you could put your card in, and boom, you're done. So
you don't even have to interact with the waiter or waitress.
Well, when you order, yes.
I mean,
but,
other than ordering, but for paying.
yeah, you don't have to deal anything with the payment. So
How would they know that you paid?
was it one thing? Oh, actually, this was done completely on a mobile app. It was at the Turning Point restaurant. It was a breakfast place we went to, and you actually just scanned. It was like a barcode that was on your table, and you scanned it and you pay on your mobile. And I asked the waitress, I was like, how do you know that I just paid? And she said that like a little alarm would go off, like a notification would go off on her station, and she would see that the table was paid. So like she would notice, it's like, hey, they're walking away. Did they pay? Look, no. Okay, they're dining and dashing. But
Gotcha.
yeah,
Gotcha. I see.
they got a
That makes
system. They
sense.
got a cool system going there.
Yeah. I mean that's no different than, I guess, somebody dining and dashing without that whole mechanism.
They'll do it with or without the paper trail.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know that. But coffee is a different story in France. Everything is an espresso, cappuccino, or an Americano. You know what an Americano is, right?
Yeah, that's just a shot of espresso with water, hot water.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So
no like full cups of coffee. It's more or less like the espresso.
yeah, little. Did you know that espresso has a lot of cholesterol? Someone told me that.
Wait,
Or
what?
something like that. Yeah, like it affects your cholesterol. I didn't know anything about this.
Well,
like
I was
espresso.
like, you said it had a lot of cholesterol. I was like, wait a second, what am I drinking?
No. So like for some reason, drip coffee doesn't affect your cholesterol as much. I should have looked this up. I don't know anything about this, but espresso, since it doesn't drip out of like a filter, I guess I'm guessing here now.
I'm
guessing
starting to
that-
feel immediately defensive. By the way, that's
Why?
my natural inclination. I'm like, don't.
How
you
dare
tell
you
me
talk
my
about coffee? No, so because there's no filter and espresso is not filtered, it just I guess all the oils or whatever affects cholesterol for some reason or whatever. I don't know. But someone was mentioning that to me, and then I never looked into it, and I actually should.
Well, I know with a French press, let's say if you want to do a French press of coffee, that there's no filter involved there.
Yeah.
You're just straining it through the wire mesh, and
yeah,
you have coffee grounds could be floating in there. But I understand with espresso is that it's so tightly packed into the thingy that I don't know the technical terms, but it's so tightly packed in there, and then it just strains out. Basically, the coffee itself is like kind of like a filter because it's just so densely packed in there that the water just has to go through and steep through the finely grounded beans that are there.
Right.
I don't know.
So,
I would like to look more into this because now I'm very concerned.
Me too.
Like your numbers are
for
fine.
You.
I don't think that your numbers really were affected by the coffee because, of course, it would be a lot different story with your blood tests. So
yeah. Let me ask you something, just changing the subject. You haven't seen the video I put out, so I'm asking everybody listening or watching a blanket question, including you, Tom, and you can answer me after you watch the video.
Sure.
After you watch the video. Is it distracting or does it bother you that I don't use the green screen in this video?
I did see like a preview shot, and I saw that you had the fish tank in the background.
Uh-huh.
But I noticed that was a departure of the usual. But I'll have to look at the full thing and take it in and let you know.
So the reason why is just because I used to have a green screen hanging and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I can't use any of the other walls either because there's fucking fish tanks everywhere.
But dude, I feel that is part of the PenBoyRoy. That's part of the package now. Is that there's fish involved?
Right. So several commenters said that it didn't bother them. One even said they liked the fish tank better. So,
yeah.
I mean,
who else does pen reviews in front of a fish tank? You are unique in that.
Oh, I appreciate that.
There's only one person that does until somebody else decides, I'm going to do it now too.
No, the reason I'm asking is because that's a huge reason why I haven't been doing reviews in such a long time, is because I couldn't figure out how to set up the green screen without risk of knocking over gallons and gallons of water and stuff like that. And I was just like, finally, you know what? Fuck it. I keep getting comments on YouTube like, hey, I want the reviews. I miss the reviews and stuff like that. Yeah. One, I didn't think anybody would notice that if I didn't do reviews anymore, that they're not there. And really, I there's so many other reviewers out there. Secondly, like, I feel like maybe when you review one pen, you reviewed them all, that kind of thing, right? But then that's not true because I have this Leonardo Supernova that I also want to review. I have so many pens that I do want to review, but I was kind of holding off thinking it's just too much of a departure. So, based on the feedback...
It just sounds like to me that, you wanted to do... Maybe you want to do things the way that they used to be done, and it was just easier that way because you had a certain setup, you had a formula to it.
Right.
But then when stuff happens, like you start getting the fish tanks and life gets in the way, then things change and those parameters change, and then you can't do it the same way, so you're just kind of like, and I have to accommodate for that. And that's, that either you start to come up with these things, it's like, oh, well, no one's going to see it, or people are going to complain because it's not in front of a green screen anymore. Or you're going to be like, oh, well, what am I going to say that's different about... But, like, that's just you. Like that's the reason why your videos are funny, and I would go back to watch them, is because you find some little weird thing to point out about the pen that I've never seen before or that I've never called to mind before, and you say something funny about it, and I just it cracks me up. So I'm just like,
thank you.
It's just that's I mean, if you did that in front of a fish tank or a green screen, it doesn't matter, but it's just your personality and how you approach looking at a pen.
Yeah. This is easier, by the way. This is easier using the fish tanks as the background. I'll tell you why, because I don't have to now chroma key out the green. I don't have to edit as much, so I can do more. I can definitely do more. Yeah, more and more regularly. And
secondly, you got the ring light set up there, so you're ready to go.
Yeah, the ring light That's new. Because what I'm finding is the video camera on my iPhone is now better than the video camera that I was using that was better than the DSLR. I'm
Isn't
just
that amazing?
like, yeah. When I had the DSLR and I used that primarily, there was more that went into it. I had to put in the memory card. I had to make sure the battery was charged. I had to set up all the lighting. I had to adjust the ISOs and all that stuff. The phone just, boom, does it, like, and it's 4K, whereas my DSLR was 1080p. So I'm just like, wow, I'll just do that. And I didn't use any studio lighting. I just used the ring light and room light. So it seemed to work. So we'll see. I'm gonna do weekly reviews again because I do miss the thrill of interacting with people about it and stuff.
Yeah, it's
comments.
Also it's a lot of fun just to get your thoughts out there and just see how people react to them.
Yeah, and I don't script anymore. So what I do is I just talk without reading the teleprompter or anything like that. I just have bullets.
So do you do one long take on the iPhone and then you just cut it afterwards?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool.
It's maybe 1 or 2 takes, 2 at the most. So, and then what I found that I was doing was, as I'm talking, I'm thinking instead of reading. So I think it does feel a little bit more organic. And then if a joke pops into my head, it's not off script. I can just say whatever. Yeah, I just roll with it and whatnot. So I feel like I'm being more myself as opposed to being heavily scripted. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still have notes. Like I have like the good, bullet, the nib, bullet, the form of the pen, bullet, how smooth it writes, bullet, the flexiness, you know what I mean? And, you just, before I hit record, I just review those notes, and that's it. So it's definitely, it brings me back to when I first started doing reviews, and I did it in my living room with my iPhone. No microphone, so it sounded terrible. But I do remember thinking that this is so much fun. And it brought me back to the excitement of when I first started doing reviews, how non-technical it was, how non-technological it was, but how much fun and how authentic I felt doing it. And we've talked about how I feel like authenticity is super important, right? My only thing I'm doing differently now is the technology is just inherently better because the phone is better. And I have a ring light and a stand, and I use a microphone so that way the audio doesn't sound like shit. And then instead of reading off a script, I'm now just doing bullets. And as long as I cover those bullets, it's fine. So I enjoy it more this way. So I already have the next pen that I'm going to review. I'm going to probably put it up on Saturday.
Oh, you shall be getting another pen of which to review, or at least a few of them, actually.
Really?
I sent it to you yesterday. Or actually, no, was it picked up today? It might have been picked up this morning, but you should probably be getting it tomorrow.
Is it the Gravitas?
Oh, you'll see.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you'll see. It'll be fun. We'll get to talk about it next week.
Okay, I'm excited. I'm probably not going to do the review on it. I have to play with the pen for about a week before I can review it and stuff like that. It better not be a pen that takes like 40 rotations to uncap because Slickery don't already.
I think you should review that pen as well.
Oh, I think I may.
The bad. It should be the good, the awful, and then the but ugly.
No, I don't know where to put that. The fact that it takes 11 rotations to cap and uncap, I don't know if that belongs in the good or the ugly. It's just the greatest practical joke fountain pen ever. I'm sitting here and I'm uncapping it 11 fucking rotations. That is awesome. You know what I should do? I mean, I don't want to do a review on this pen because when I talk about the 11 rotations, I'm going to talk about like normal. So this pen caps and uncaps in approximately 11 rotations. And then I don't want people to think that I'm seriously reviewing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
there's just be a very long pause for when you're and it uncaps in 11 rotations. Watch it as I uncap it in 11 rotations.
I'm going to speed up the video times 4 just so that you guys don't have to wait for me to finish uncapping it. 2 minutes later. Okay, now we're done uncapping the pen. So that would have to actually be in the good. 4 rotations, you belong in the ugly. But 11 rotations, you belong in the good.
That was intentional.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I remember standing at my desk laughing out loud. But what's new with you, man? Talk to me. I feel like I haven't spoken to you in so long.
Oh, gee. We had Memorial Day weekend. It's been kind of crazy. I wish there was an extra day of which I could just spend doing nothing. So it was a lot of good times with family and friends. We spent some time hanging out. This weekend's going to be all about soccer, though. Because my daughter's got a tournament, my son's got a game. We've got practices during the week. And I got to go volunteer. So I got to volunteer in the morning, at Saturday morning at 6 o'clock to help out with the snack bar, which I'm assuming is going to be prep work, which I'm not going to mind because it was either that or parking duty, and I absolutely hate parking duty because people are assholes behind the car. Yeah, so I don't want to direct or have to tell them, no, you can't park it. I just give me food. I know food. I could prepare stuff. I could help out doing that. Fine, no problem. But yeah, it's been good.
Well, I meant what's going on with you in the pen world, but
I was just gonna say we've been having so many, and I think that it's going to start dwindling down a little bit in June. But there's been so many launches, releases. It really is a lot. It's too much, even, I would say. And then by the time it starts to slow down in July, we'll be looking to work on the next issue of the print catalog again, and that's its own project on top of the regular program of, posting content and writing stuff, and it's a lot. I don't think I'll get a vacation.
I feel like when the catalog time comes around, it's like all hands on deck at Goldspot. Right.
It's tough because it's like 60 pages, and it's a lot of content, a lot of photos, a lot of planning of what pens are going where, what brands are being represented, what collections are we putting on, and the extra articles that go in there. It's so much. It's a lot of work, but we love doing it, and we love the reaction that we got with everybody that receives them, especially people who are new to shopping at Goldspot. They're so impressed with, oh man, there's an actual catalog that's out there. It's kind of, everybody says it's like the Sears Roebuck catalog of when or the Toys R Us catalog when they used to have the Toys R Us catalog, that it would just be this thing that you could put on your coffee table and just refer to throughout the entire last part of the year, and make it as your wish list and be like, I want this one, so
Let me ask you something though. With regard to the catalog, do you get orders from the catalog to make it worth spending all the time and money in making a catalog?
Yeah, still, even in the middle of the next year after we have the catalog get sent out, still people will be using it as a reference. They'll call up, they'll say, there's this pen on page 34 that I saw on here, and I just want to ask about this, so that people use it well past the date that they get mailed out.
So do you actually take a look at your phone real quick? Do you actually get orders using the catalog as a mechanism?
Yeah.
So people actually send in orders using the cutout of the magazine and using the order code in the magazine and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we used to. So there used to be an order form in the catalog that people could cut out and then put it in the mail, or fax it even. That was at the earlier stages when I was initially working at Goldspot and being the chief catalog producer, designer. So it would be heavily we would have people mailing stuff in or faxing it or calling in by phone. But now it's mostly they just use it as a reference point to then look up the URL, like the little short URL, like goldspot.com/custom 823. They go type that into the address bar. It brings them to all the 823 pens. Like, that's just how it is now. We did one that had QR codes, but that was kind of before QR codes were very popular, and then it kind of made the pages a little weird looking because you just have these blocks that had to be big enough for your phone to scan, and it just didn't make things look very flattering. It made it look very cheap. So we use like the short URLs to then have as a jumping off point so that people could look at it on the website. And
that makes sense. So the investment in the magazine is actually worth the returns.
Yeah, because it's a different form of marketing that I think still has its, like we're saying, authenticity. It has a certain humbleness about it, whereas like anything that's electronic, it kind of has an ephemeral nature where you could send an email, somebody could just delete it or just not look at it. But you get a catalog in the mail, you receive it, it's physically there, you have to do something with it. You have to either say, I'm going to throw it out, or I'm going to take a breezy look through it and see what this is all about. And more often than not, because of the fact that it's physically there, you can't ignore it like you can an email. Just let an email get buried down the list, no problem. Or just hit delete, it's gone. But the fact that you have to do something, you have to recycle it or trash it, there's something that has to be done with that physical piece of mail. And the fact that mail itself is very rare these days, it has a bigger impact on people. So
let me ask you something. Last question about the catalog, because, I mean, this is the most important question to me when it comes to the catalog. Because I remember old Archie comics, there's like a cutout you submit with a check and you get your subscription that way and stuff like that. But the Goldspot catalog is a little different. The Goldspot catalog is a shopping catalog. What percentage of the catalog do you think winds up being looked at while someone's taking a dump?
I don't know. I don't have the metrics on that. I don't have the return on dump investment on that.
I think the next Ink Flight box has to be this. You have to answer if you look at the Goldspot catalog while taking a dump. And the people who are willing to answer will get the Ink Flight box. What do you think?
I mean, if they're willing to answer what in the affirmative, that they did take the dump while reading the catalog.
I don't want to exclude people who don't look at the catalog while they're taking a shit, but if they don't, they can say no, but why? Mm-hmm. And then if you do, why?
That sounds like a very personal question that I'm not about to ask a whole lot of people.
Right. That might
it's like,
not be a successful giveaway.
How do you spend your time in the bathroom? Do you have a pile of magazines? Do you just cruise on your smartphone? It just seems like a rather personal topic that.
Right. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'll ask questions like, hey, what color of pen do you like? Or what nib size do you prefer? But not, do you browse for pens while taking a crap in the bathroom? Not exactly
Let me ask you something, though. When it comes to ingenuity, has anybody ever asked that question?
No one has ever asked that question in the history of all the questions ever asked.
Right? So don't you think that some questions need to be asked?
There's always things to investigate.
Yeah, and I think that this would be an interesting one. If they wrote, Dear Tom and Roy, I look at the Goldspot catalog while taking a steamy log. Or Dear Tom and Roy, I don't look at the Goldspot catalog while dropping a log. I mean, that makes for some interesting content on Instagram.
I will be the first to open this up. I will usually nowadays listen to audiobooks while on the shitter. So
Okay.
that's my thing these days, because
Yeah.
I'm going through Brandon Sanderson like readathon right now, so I'm in the middle of there's the Stormlight Archive, and it's a 48-hour audiobook, and you have to pretty much read that whenever you possibly get a chance. So I have the AirPods in, and I'll just be listening to that while on the can. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I
so-
wasn't asking what you do on the can. I was asking if people look at the Goldspot catalog while
Well,
on
if
the
we're
can.
going to get people to write us in at pentertainmentpodcast@gmail.com and describe any bathroom activity, I think we have to be open first. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to be open first so that people can feel somewhat comfortable. It's like, hey, you know, that's what Tom does. So there you go.
So I think then the fair thing to have opened up with was, I don't look at the Goldspot catalog while on the can.
Well, I do not either, because I look at it enough off of the can where I could just use a break being on the can doing something else.
So when you're at work, like you had one too many burritos, you're at work, you gotta take a trip to the can. You don't grab a catalog with you and be like, let me look at this while I'm doing my business, so I can.
Like I said,
critique.
AirPods. That's what you got.
So
You can
so
listen to
basically, what you're telling me in the world is you don't prioritize the creative content that you create at work all the time.
it. You gotta take a break sometimes. You gotta take a break
Right.
sometimes.
Well, anyway, it's that time. This is going to be uploaded on Saturday. This is the weekend. I think it's June 3rd. And if everybody could do me a great big favor, check out my video review of the Mont Blanc Meisterstück 146 and tell me what you thought of the scenery, if it was distracting that it's not the computer-generated background, if you liked it better or not. I'm just curious. I would appreciate that. Write in at pentertainmentpodcast@gmail.com. What do you got, Tom? Anything?
I think you should definitely do a review of the Fisher Space Pen, and then you know how the Fisher Space Pen you can actually write underwater. You would be talking about the pen, and then just all of a sudden you just put the notebook and the pen inside the water of the tank, and then just start writing with it there, and be like, boom,
Yeah.
it's done. But then again, I don't know, that might cause a imbalance in the chemicals of the water and stuff if you just completely dunk a pen and paper in there. So
I think it would be difficult to do.
yeah.
You know what my friend at work was telling me? He said you should totally do a joke video, wear like swimming trunks, but film from like the mid-stomach up, of how you clean pens in the shower. How to clean pens in the shower. And I
That would
was
be
like,
funny.
I am totally going to consider that. I
And
think
all you
that
would
would
just see, you would see like your feet, and you would see the water, the water's running, and traces of ink are just getting washed out onto the bathtub and everything.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that because I thought it was such a fantastic idea. Because listen, why not? Two birds, one stone. Clean out your pen, and clean out you while in the shower all at once.
Or you could do like a mock thing of was it Psycho? You know, Psycho, where like the person gets murdered in the bathtub, and it's like the so it's like you could do that, and then when that happens, it could be like a Diamine writer's blood, where it's just like the red ink just like spills everywhere, you know.
So you want to hear something funny? That just reminded me. While I was in Paris, I filled pens with red ink. I think it was Vampire Blood by Private Reserve. And I did this on purpose. I used like a whole bunch of tissues and wiped the nib and everything like that. Got all these tissues like dark red and stuff, and just left them all over the place. So, when
This is in the one of the stores?
No, in the hotel.
Oh, in the hotel.
Yeah, I just left it all over the place, and
Oh my
I wanted
God.
I wanted to see if like the front desk later would be like, yes, excuse me, the cleaning crew was in your room, and we had to call the police.
Are you okay? Are you hiding a body somewhere in your room?
Oh, and then when I was at the Eiffel Tower, this is the funniest thing. So we had a tour guide. Our tour guide was this really knowledgeable French female, and she made us wear these blue stickers so she knows we're part of her group. There was another group. It was a Korean tour guide with a group of Korean tourists. They were all speaking Korean. I noticed them at the beginning, and I'm like, oh, look, they have the same color sticker. So then, like, an hour and a half later into the tour, I was using the bathroom. My wife and I, our group was using the bathroom, and then the Korean tour guide just came up to me all, like, flustered and frustrated, and she's yelling at me in Korean. She's like really, like, curt. She's like, in Korean, she's like, please stop separating from the group. You have to stay with the group because I have to keep track of everybody here. So I don't like people talking to me like that. But in Korean, I just very politely said, I understand, I apologize. And then I left without telling her I'm not part of her group. Yeah. I thought that was funny. I don't know if that was very nice. She looked really stressed out and overwhelmed. Because she had like a whole bunch of Korean like older people that just weren't following her instructions and stuff, and they would just like wander off.
You were the example that she had to make. And she was going to pull you out of there and be like, look, this one.
Yes. But she came up and she was talking to me like I was like a kid and she was a school teacher or something like that, you know? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, my immediate mode of revenge was like, okay, just tell her you're sorry, tell her it won't happen again, and then disappear on her. Anyway, listen, we got to call it a night. Thanks again for joining us here on episode number 165 of the PenBoyRoy Pentertainment Podcast. I'm going to go and hit the hay because I'm tired and try to recover from some of this jet lag. I do appreciate and love you guys for joining us. Be well, be safe.
Stay inky.